Hi everyone, welcome to the lesson Android Device Compatibility, Screen Compatibility, Part 1 Intro. Screen compatibility is discussed under device compatibility because these lectures is about how to develop adaptive user interfaces. In other words, it's about device compatibility. Then under that, one of the sections is to how to deal with screen compatibility. We'll be using these tools for this lecture. Make sure to cover these prerequisites before you start with this lecture. In this session, you will be learning about screen compatibility, which is under adaptive user interface development, meaning how can you develop apps so that when you develop a single app, that it is compatible across multiple screens. When I say multiple screens, it what we mean by that is, let's say, a smaller mobile phone or a larger tab or even a larger Android TV, different screens. So under screen compatibility, it discuss these sections, two sections: screen sizes and pixel densities. So what is screen compatibility? So Android runs on variety of devices that have different screen sizes and pixel densities. The system performs basic scaling and resizing to adapt to your user interface to different screens, but there's more work you should do. So what this first bullet point means is, so as you all know, Android runs on different devices. So when you develop an app, the system will perform basic scaling and resizing, which means when you develop an app, and when this app is running on different screens, Android system will do some basic scaling and resizing to adapt to different screen sizes, but that is not enough. If you want to give a very smooth user experience to the end user, you will have to apply extra techniques, which is what we are discussing under screen compatibility. And two important areas are coming under screen compatibility are screen sizes and pixel densities. So these things listed under screen sizes and pixel densities are the techniques you have to apply if you want to give a better user experience when it comes to screen compatibility. So under screen compatibility, two main areas are screen sizes, that is to support different screen sizes. Under that, we'll be discussing about flexible layouts and how to work on alternative layouts and stretchable images. Then under pixel densities, we'll discuss about the concept called density independence and providing alternative bitmaps and the use of vector graphics. As usual, we will be based on practical demonstrations. So if we have a look at the Android developer docs, under screen compatibility, as you can see, it's talking about supporting different screens. Then under screen size, so when it comes to tackling different screen sizes, one of the important techniques is to use flexible layouts. So in the next lesson, we'll be talking about flexible layouts, and we'll be doing a practical showing how to apply flexible layouts using, for example, let's say constraint layout. So that means we'll be using different layouts such as constraint layouts. Then another technique under screen size is to provide alternative layouts. So what this means is to provide multiple or alternative XML user interface files. For example, one XML file for a smaller mobile phone and another XML file for a larger tab, but it's for the same app. Keep in mind, it's the same app, but it's running on different screen. So the mechanism here is to provide alternative XML files. So when you provide alternative XML files, the Android runtime will select the most suitable XML file depending on the device your application runs. So if your application is running on a larger tab, then it will automatically select the XML file which you have provided for the larger tabs. Same for portrait and landscape. So if you have provided a separate XML file for landscape, then if the user rotates the phone into landscape orientation, then Android runtime will automatically load that landscape XML file instead of the normal display, let's say instead of the normal portrait XML file. So that is providing alternate layouts, and then we'll be having another practical lesson after this about practically how to do alternate layouts. Then another technique is to provide stretchable images. So because your layout should stretch to fit the current screen. So when the screen size is changing, let's say when the app is run on a smaller screen, and then when the same app is run on a larger screen, so the layout will have to stretch. So the images or the bitmaps also should have to stretch. But however, when you stretch any bitmaps, it may not look nice. So to solve this, Android supports a concept called 9-patch bitmaps. So we'll have another lesson after this to cover this area. So that is mainly the techniques to look after the coming under screen size, under screen compatibility. Then the second area under screen compatibility is pixel densities. So what pixel density means is the pixel density is the number of pixels within a physical area. So given a physical area, let's say 1 inch by 1 inch, for example, given a 1 inch area, then how many number of pixels are there in that physical area? So this is referred as dots per inch. Now this is different from the resolution. A device will also have a resolution, which means the total number of pixels on a screen. That is resolution. But when it comes to pixel densities, we are not talking about resolution. We are talking about the number of pixels within a given physical area. So this gives an example, say figure 2, an example exaggeration of two devices that are the same size but different pixel density. So see, this is an example showing two different devices, physical devices, but having different pixel densities. So pixel density means how many number of pixels in a given area. So if you have more pixels in a given area, that is like the second device. But if you have less pixels in a given area, that is like this first device. So when you have less pixels in a given area, that pixels might occupy a larger space because it's less pixels in a given area. So the pixels individual space is large. So that is why you see this kind of a output. But if you have more pixels in a physical area, then it looks more sharp, like in the second device over here. Now, under pixel densities, there are techniques to look after that. One is a concept called density independence. So what is density independence? That is when your app preserves the physical size from user's point of view, right, of your UI design when displayed on screens with different pixel densities. So what this means is, from the user's point of view, when two different users are using this app on two different devices with like this, with having two different pixel densities. Now from user's point of view, let's say if this is a app and if this is displaying a character, it occupies the same physical area, even though having different pixel densities. If you like consider it as the width of this letter A and the height of this letter A is the same in both devices having these two different pixel densities. Now if you develop app use like this, you call this as density independence. So from user's point of view, right, it preserves the same physical area. Now maintaining density independence is important because without it, if you don't do maintain this, what happens is a UI element, let's say UI element means a button or something, might appear larger on low density screen, and the same button might appear very small on a high density screen, because when the pixels, okay, so what happens is, if you look at this concept, because when the pixels are larger, like in this first device, what can happen is a few pixels can go a long way. When you have large pixels, let's say if you take 10 pixels, and if you take high density device which has more pixels in a given area, 10 pixels, if you measure it, like if you look at my mouse, if let's say if this is 10 pixels, like this width, this much, but here 10 pixels is very small, but here a 10 pixel means it will occupy a larger area because it's low density, meaning it has less number of pixels in a given area. So when you have high number of pixels in a given area, meaning high density, like in the second device, so when you have a button, if you don't maintain density independence, what can happen is a button will look large in a low density device, and the same button will look very small in a high density device, but it's the same app, so users will get different out like look and feel, but it's the same screen size. So one user will see a larger button, but another user running the same app on a different device with a different uh, pixel density will see a smaller size button. So you have to avoid it. So to avoid it, when you provide the size of the button, you have to provide it in a density independent manner. So we have another practical explaining you how to do this after this lesson. Then another technique coming under pixel density is to provide alternative bitmaps. So, so to ensure images appear in best, you can provide alternative bitmaps to match each screen density, right? So for different densities, you can provide different bitmaps. For example, if your app provides bitmaps only for medium density, medium means a MDPI. So if your app provides image bitmaps only for medium density, then what happens is Android will scale them up on a high density screen, so the image occupies the same physical space. Now what can happen is this can cause a visible scaling artifacts on the bitmap. So rather than letting Android to stretch the image, you better provide alternative bitmaps. So that we discuss in another lesson practically after this. Then finally, under density independence, under pixel densities, final technique under pixel density, final technique is to use vector graphics. So for simple types of images such as icons, you can avoid creating separate images for each density by using vector graphics. So instead of creating separate images for different densities, like meaning alternative bitmaps, instead of doing that for let's say small icons, you can provide vector graphics, because now the recommendation is alternative bitmaps, but what this says, if you got small icons, instead of providing alternative bitmaps, you can achieve pixel density, you can cover the pixel density with vector graphics, because vector graphics define the illustration with geometric line paths instead of pixels. So its geometric line paths then can be drawn at any size without scaling artifacts. So these geometric line paths can be drawn without giving a weird stretch, look appearance. So we will have another lesson practically after this covering vector graphics. Okay, so the conclusion is you got introduction to screen compatibility under device compatibility. So how to achieve screen compatibility, meaning when you have different sizes of screens, how can you develop app so that it doesn't stretch weirdly, because stretching will happen by default, but it doesn't look good for all the occasions. So when you develop a app, and if you don't apply screen compatibility techniques discussed in this lecture, what happens is the Android runtime will automatically stretch your app and it may not look nice for the end user. So you have to make sure that you provide these extra techniques coming under screen sizes, which are flexible layouts, alternate layouts, and stretchable images. And then you have to cover pixel densities, and techniques are density independence, alternative bitmaps, and vector graphics. So we'll be having practical examples after this lesson for each of these areas. So reference we use is Android developer docs, and make sure to look at the next lessons for you to cover the practicals of this. We are very excited to see you in the next lesson. So see you all in the next lesson.